Hey y'all, welcome to Vlogmas Day 23. We are literally almost there. This is another day where I'm going to film multiple videos in one day. So if you see the same white white wall background in this video and the next, it's because I'm filming 2 videos today. Got caught up in work and busyness and tiredness and again, so I'm behind. So today's Vlogmas actually 24, Merry Christmas Eve. But today we're going to be filming 23, and it's actually kind of the same video, but we're going to do it in 2 parts. I started filming this video and it was way too long, and I was only halfway through my list. But today we're going to be talking about things not to do and not to do, or I don't know what the title of this video is going to be, just attractions, tricks, and tips. You think you would just get in line, ride the ride, that's it, but there is actually more to it. And then this is coming from a point of view as a cast member. You guys know I'm an attractions cast member at Autopia. Most of these things are going to apply to just Autopia, but also most of these things can also be translated to most if not all of the attractions at Disneyland. So without further ado, we're going to start with, I have 10 things that I wanted to 10 tips and tricks that I want to talk to you about, but I'm actually going to split it up, so I'm only going to do the first 5. So this is part 1 of attractions, tips, and tricks. I cannot talk today. I'm a little sleepy. Sorry, let's get started now. So number 1, this is the number 1 thing for any attraction, is pay attention to the height requirements. If your child does not meet a height requirement of the certain attraction, they cannot go on the ride. No exceptions. This is not us being mean. I'm going to say this probably 102 times that we are not trying to be mean. This is just a safety thing. Like, let's say things happen on the ride, especially things like at Autopia, people don't take their foot off the gas and collide into the car, baby flies out. We can't have that. It is a safety concern and all of that. So your kid, it is easy to figure out the height requirements for the different attractions. They are listed on the Disneyland app. And for Autopia in particular, we actually have 2 height requirements. We have one to ride all together, and that is 32 inches, and then we have to ride alone, it's going to be 54 inches. And any kid that looks like they won't meet that 32 inches, the cast member is probably going to check their height just to be sure, because it is crucial that no one rides the ride that is not tall enough, because it is not safe. So just pay attention to that. You would hate to get to the attraction that you've been really, really excited about. Like, let's say you get to Space Mountain. I know for a fact, because I have friends and I'm just observant, that work Space Mountain. The Space Mountain height requirement is 40 inches. Let's say your kid is really, really excited. You hyped them up for Space Mountain. You've been waiting months and months to go on your trip. You get to Space Mountain. Your trip finally comes. You get to Space Mountain. They're not tall enough. They barely make it. The thing with height requirements is you have to hit, their head has to hit the top, or the bottom. Like most height requirements look like this, and they're standing up like kind of in this like upside down L shape, and they just have to hit the top of the L, like right here, their head, not their hair, not their Mickey ears, their top of their head. Like, cast members will literally go like this, and if any part of their hand can fit underneath the height check, their kid, I'm sorry, the kid is not tall enough to ride. So just be aware. You don't have to be like, okay, like, what can they ride, what can't they ride? You don't have to be super, like, meticulous about it. But I would just be aware of rides. And maybe if you have a kid that's, like, 3 or 4 years old and they're not going to be able to ride things like Space Mountain or Star Tours, whatever, just be prepped. Like, they're, like, say, hey, Jimmy or whoever, this ride is really fun, but you may or may not be tall enough. Like, don't say, we're going on this ride. You may or may not be tall enough, let's just see. So maybe you're not sure of your kid's height at their age right now. You can always go up to the cast members and be like, hey, I just want to see if my kid is tall enough. But with that being said, I don't mind just double checking to see if your kid can ride. Maybe you're not sure and you just want to check. You could always do that. So then we're going to move on to number 2 and number 3 are going to be pretty similar. It's all about strollers. And strollers in all of the queues, as far as my understanding goes, they are not allowed to bring strollers in line. There are designated parking areas for all attractions. Some attractions share a parking area. Sometimes they're marked, sometimes they're not. If they're not marked, don't be afraid to ask cast members. They will point out exactly where they are. Or sometimes there's even an extra cast member standing around and be like, here, I will take your stroller for you, and just come to me at the end and I'll show you where it's at. No problem. So that moves on to number 3. Strollers that are not supposed to be in a certain area, that are not safe for strollers to be there, will be moved by cast members. This is because they could block an entrance to a ride, or maybe an entrance to like an emergency exit or something like that is not safe for a stroller or even like a wheelchair or ECV to be. So cast members will move them. If you're not sure where your stroller ended up, don't be afraid to ask us. We will tell you, and don't just calmly ask the cast member, oh hey, my stroller was parked here, did someone move it? And most of the time they're going to be like, yes, they're actually going to be across the way here. And they're like, okay, thank you, and move on. So that is just kind of the tip I was going for there, is that just ask where the stroller parking is. That way you can avoid your stroller being moved, because if you put it in the right spot in the first place, then it won't be moved, and you'll know where your stroller is exactly when you come back off the ride. So that is all about strollers. That's all I have for right now for strollers. So number 4 is going to be listening to your cast members. That is a big one. We, as cast members, like I said in the beginning of this video, we don't set these rules. These are not our rules. These are the rules of our attraction that we have to follow, as well as our guests, to make this a safe environment for ourselves and for our guests. So we do not say these things like get inside the white box or remain behind the yellow line to be mean. This is to be safe. Our number 1 priority is going to be safety. So make sure you guys listen to our directions. So for example, at Autopia, we have little white boxes that we ask you guys to stand in when you've been placed on a box to wait to get into a car. At Autopia, placed on a number. Again, I can't stress this enough. This is not to be mean. We have a lot of cars coming in that could potentially injure you if you were to get hit by one of the cars. We don't ask you to remain seated just to hold you there, like maliciously, like haha, you're not going to be able to do any more rides today because I'm holding you here at this attraction. No. We don't want you to get bumped by the car. Like, listen to the cast members. They have your best interest at heart. I know I do, for sure. Just keep your ears open and watch and listen for instructions. It's super important to us. So number 5, this is going to be our last topic for this particular video, but part 2 will be in our next video. So number 5 is going to be snacks. Please bring snacks. If the lines are long, a little snack or a little drink is going to make it a better time for you in line. You're not going to get maybe as cranky or maybe as restless in line. It's kind of something to do in a sense. Please bring your snacks. I don't mind. Totally allowed to bring snacks into the lines while you're waiting. Totally acceptable. However, just make sure you finish that snack before you get into your ride vehicle or car, because the cast member assisting you with your seatbelt or your lap bar or whatever is going to ask if they could take it from you and throw it away. We as cast members are not allowed to hold on to drinks. We could put them on the side, but if another cast member who doesn't have anything to do at that moment comes by to pick up trash, you're not going to stop them and say, oh hey, my guest is coming back to get their drink, because it's not safe for us to hold on to their drinks. Do not bring drinks onto the attractions. We will have to ask you to put it away or throw it away because it's not allowed on our rides. So that is going to be it, even with me splitting up, talking about your tips and tricks. It's still, this video is like 10 minutes long, so I talk a lot in these sit-down ones. But hopefully this will help you have a successful time at the attractions, and there's less heartbreak, less like confrontations, and hopefully like you'll have a better time if you just follow these tips and tricks. Hopefully it'll help. But thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you so much for following along with all of Vlogmas. I said this in my last video, but I appreciate each and every one of you watching my videos. Thanks to my mom for sharing all my videos on Facebook. That really helps. And I hope you guys have a very Merry Christmas. If you work today, thank you so much for working today. I'm working today, so that's cool. I work a little later. But anyway, I hope you guys have a very Merry Christmas, and I'll see you guys really soon. Bye!